Hi and welcome back. So, if you've been watching my channel, you've seen that I'm currently working on a project of Pioneer components, vintage components. And the very first component that I have repaired is indeed a receiver amplifier. And clearly I can't go over in the alignment since I was missing the multiplexer signals, alignment signals. And this instrument is what is meant to be. And indeed is a signal generator. It's a leader LSG-231 FM stereo signal generator, which has a built-in frequency generator that should be regulated at 100 megahertz. However, provide all the output required to modulate an external signal generator. And indeed what I will do is to use this to modulate my synthesized signal generator, since it's more stable, it's programmable, the output level is programmable, very precise. So there are so many reasons why we shouldn't use this. By the way, it's usable and it's stable, should be at least. So hopefully this will be a nice piece to add to the lab, since I never had such facility in my lab. This has been a very good deal, very cheap, around $50 shipped. I completely don't know the condition, so before to apply any power, I have to open and check the inside. I have just unwrapped it, so let's see how it's inside. By the way, general conditions are very good. We have some oxidation signs on the handle, and also it's a bit bent here. As you can see, there is it's not aligned, it's bent this way, so it should be straightened up. This is the rear. We have several adjustments over there and outputs. Not sure what does it mean, SEA, I will see. 1 kilohertz output. This is, I believe, the internal tone generator output. Very simple plug. So let's open it up and see how it's inside. Okay, so the last screw. Okay, wrong side, I have to say. This is the top of the instrument, but it looks like the bottom. And however, it's quite dirty, but seems no rework on it. So let me remove the other side. This is the bottom and should expose the components, and indeed it does. It's quite clean over there. Move a bit. So here we have a transistor that I believe it's a power supply regulator. There's a transformer, the adjustments, trimmer, potentiometers. Okay. So it seems that, let me check. Yeah, it seems that somebody has adjusted those tunable transformer, crystal, I believe this should be 76 kilohertz. Okay, so let me check more in depth if there is anything obvious, and then let's try to power it up. As we can see in the schematic, we have a single secondary output from the transformer. So we have a single supply, so it should be easy to monitor. So I will attach my test leads of a multimeter and power it up slowly through the variac. Just a quick static check before applying power on the DC output, and I'm having 160 ohm almost, so no short circuit, should be safe enough to power it up. Okay, I have connected to variac and to the scope, monitoring the modulation output. I'm rising up slowly. I'm at 80 volt AC and looks fine so far. So let's make it work on this. Let's sit at this voltage for a while. It's about 10 minutes that it's running at 100 volt, and I'm rising up. I'm at 150 volt and looks fine so far. The lamps are glowing, and I am also having signal onto the scope. This is the 19 kHz pilot output and looks fine so far. Monitoring the 19 kHz output. It's a bit drifting, but it seems okay almost. It's quite a while that is running at 180 volts, and I don't see any problem to go to full power. I'm at full power, and it seems that the frequency is dropping down. So let's warm it up and see if it is well regulated. At full power, I'm having 1.76 volt peak to peak, and let's measure RMS. So it's 607 millivolt RMS. Don't know if it's within spec. So I will grab the service manual and see if there is any indication of that. I'm sure that there is. I've connected the probe to the composite output, and if I turn the control, as you can see, it's very scratchy. Very scratchy. So yeah, I'm afraid the controls must be cleaned up. I've cleaned the control and I've activated the stereo signal onto the composite output. So let's see what we have. And indeed we have a composite signal. So if I will have mono, that's fine. This is only left, this is only right. The very minor difference, almost impossible to see. This is the 67 kHz output, again mono and stereo. So it seems working. So let's see the RF output. So I have connected the second channel of the scope to the RF output, and I should have 100 megahertz over there. I'm having nothing. So Ah, okay, that is the switch. I think it's a, yeah, switch is very dirty. Yeah, it seems that should be cleaned also, this control. The cleaning of the switch have fixed the problem. So I now have a very small signal, since I think it's going down to 10 microvolts or something like that. This is the maximum that should be around 10 millivolt RMS. So let's try to measure RMS for channel 2. And no, sorry. Yes, indeed, is 14.3 millivolts, so seems fine. It's a bit higher, but shouldn't be a problem. So what I want to do is to wait that is well warmed up and perform the alignment. Okay, it's completely warmed up, so starting to calibrate the instrument, we are requested to check first of all voltages and ripples. I'm at TP1, no ripple. I am in the 5 millivolt scale, very nice. Very little also on TP2, it's a bit higher, but still below 10 millivolt, as we are at 10 millivolts per division, so should be good enough. This is the 5 volt, spot on, and 18 volt. Let me touch the ground. Yeah, I think it's good enough. I don't want to mess the adjustment. I'm performing the 1 kilohertz tone adjustment, and I have just touched up to reach the point of 1 volt RMS over there and 150 millivolts over there, which is this is at the real output. However, I have the tone, it's a bit higher in frequency and is out of spec, should be between 919 and 1010. I don't know if it's a problem that, however, in the manual it's requested to check to be within that. So I don't know if this will affect the modulation some way. As we can see, we should have this. Okay, let me check the distortion. Yeah, distortion is good. 0.03 and should be less than 0.5. So let me investigate that and see if we can improve a bit. Continuing the alignment process, it's requested to connect the AC voltmeter to the composite output, and as we can see, I'm reading 0.7 and I'm at 3 o'clock. It's upside down, but that is the line that indicates 3 o'clock. And it is requested to have 0.9. So yeah, it's quite a bit out. And I already have triggered a bit. I already have increased it a bit. It was almost 0.6. And okay, I'm able to reach it. That's okay. So it seems that with maximum I should have 1 volt. Yeah, and indeed it's that. In the next step is required to put down this regulation and switch on the modulation, the pilot modulation, and I should read 0.1, and this case is too high. Yeah, spot on. This instrument is very handy. the AC voltmeter here. It's very, very handy. Well, at this stage of adjustment, I'm requested to use an oscilloscope with XY mode to achieve this LSG pattern. And as we can see, I'm out, and this is the setting, XY synchronized, right? So let me try to adjust it, since it would be fun to see. Okay, look at that. Yeah, it's reacting as expected. Yeah, spot on. Same thing to the next adjustment, XY mode, this pattern, and I'm out. So let's try to adjust on camera. Not easy with looking at the adjustment point and the scope. Tripod will not reach there. So I hope should be able to put right that. Yeah. Yeah, I think it's okay now. I'm checking the output frequency. It's bouncing a bit. Yeah, not very stable, but should be good enough. So I want to check on the other frequency counter that I've just recently repaired. And yeah, the reading is almost the same. It's bouncy a bit. Yeah, if I touch a bit the case, move a bit. However, it's good enough. I have now connected to the modulation analyzer, so I should be able to see, well, this is the amplitude. Well, when I will able the frequency modulation should be indicated here, the deviation. Okay, I have enabled the FM modulation, and I'm having a deviation of almost 120 kilohertz, which is too high. Should be 75. Yeah, that is good enough. And with the deviation adjustment, the adjustment procedures are finished, so I can reassemble the instrument, give a cleaning, and make some tests. Okay, this is the receiver amplifier that I've just repaired in my last video. So I'm applying the signal at 100 megahertz, and it's okay. And if I modulate it, stereo signal is coming on, and right I have the signal, on the left I don't. If I switch, I will have on the left, on the right I don't. This is mono, stereo. So again, if I switch off, the stereo light is going out. So it seems that the tuner is adjusted. By the way, I will do off camera if need just to be touched up about the channel separation. It's just a minor adjustment. So the generator is working fine and it's quite stable. I have just removed the handle since I will polish, I will straighten it, but I'm not sure that I will install back on the instrument, since it's very helpful to have the instrument free from the handles to add on the shelves. So I think that's it for this video, and I'm quite happy to have this new instrument in the lab that it was in my will since a long time ago, and I really didn't want to invest much money since I will use rarely. But in this case, for this incoming projects and the already one done, it's really helpful, and it's the only way to check if FM stereo works or not. So thank you very much for watching, and really appreciate any comments that I have received. All of those are all the time very helpful, and let me be more informed on instruments and tips. So really appreciate that. So thank you very much again, and see you soon.